Welcome, my son, to the machine. What have you been? It's alright, we know where you've been. So welcome to the machine. So as I was riding back here tonight, I thought of my idea for the next one. What is the devil's greatest trick? Everyone knows the answer to that. It's an old line, but it's never been more appropriate and tragic. The devil's greatest trick, of course, is an epidemic of denial that they even exist. And how is that accomplished, would you ask? Well, it took a lot of work and many years and extremely talented and powerful mind control publication techniques. Going back to one of the most ancient scriptures I could find in the Rig Veda from roughly 7,000 to 10,000 years ago, in the most ancient Hindu scriptures, they spoke of ships or saucers. So, as I've said in other videos, the dark ones, the inverted, the regressive species have secretly infiltrated our human society and tried to take over and use us as slaves for a very long time. The scientism death cult members, the scientism DC death cult members to the public will say, they'll tell you there is no God. And Klaus Schwab's man that he put as an assistant openly says, in an interview he said, there was this myth that there was something like a human soul, but we could program that out. So in private, they worship either Satan, Belial, Lucifer, Baphomet, Moloch, Mammon, or just their fat ego. You know, the fallen, archontic side of their personality. As I've said in previous videos, I call it the narcissistic parasite entity. Women are used as breeders, servants, or child hookers. The Draco, Anunnaki, the Archons, the Demiurge, they've been around a very long time, okay? Some personal history. When I was 13, I first got an electric guitar. When I was 12, I believe, my favorite guitar player was Jimmy Page, and my favorite band was Led Zeppelin. I got all the records. And it wasn't until years later I found out that he purchased Aleister Crowley's house where the sun doesn't shine on the Loch Ness. And when I first heard that record when I was 13 years old, Led Zeppelin 4, I remember thinking it sounded mystical, and I didn't even know what mysticism was. It wasn't until decades later that I learned it sounded mystical because he recorded it in a house he purchased that the most demonically possessed or man ever, the most powerful evil black wizard that I know of used to live in. And so what he did is he pulled demons from something called the Antiverse, according to Lisa Rene. And this presentation is also inspired by and dedicated going back to Lisa Rene, who grew up out here in California and moved back to Carolina. Ironic, huh? So this comes from her information, Circle of the Dolphins .wordpress. She doesn't put anything on YouTube because I think she's afraid they would just, she needs to have space from all the mainstream outlets in her mind, I guess. But she is supposedly a walk-in, but the information is so accurate on so many accounts that I have to say it's got to be truthful. Comparing it to 15 other psychics and witnesses. So she says the archontic deception strategy, or from the negative alien religious infiltration from back in those days, it's victimizer, sexual abuse, child sacrifice, misogyny. She said the church, the old church, fit all those. So this is really hard. It's a salvation model through blood sacrifice. Those words just really, really stung me when I read them today. She just posted it like a day or two ago. But it's really accurate when you think about it. God's will. The Jesus with his hands nailed to the cross is the alien invasion. It's a salvation model through blood sacrifice, which is God's will for the sins of man. That God would kill his only son for ransom towards Satan in a torturous blood sacrifice. Okay, and then in the communion we eat his body and drink his blood in order to be saved. So it's an insane black magic ritual to create the tortured sacrificial body of Christ that the followers are nailed to materialism. As I've said in previous videos, I learned from this YouTuber named Space Kitten, I think, Spy Kitten. If you open a box, it's the shape of a cross, right? So her presentation about Saturnalia was great. So look it up if you want, Saturnalia. So, but that line, he would kill his only son for a ransom towards Satan, that just stung me. I was like, that's so accurate. And then think about what happened in 2020, okay? It was the grand finale for these beings, or their attempt to take it all. But so first they had Aleister Crowley 100 years ago, and Madame Blavatsky was thought to be the mother of the New Age movement. She was conjuring in, using her extreme psychic talents and powers to do a lot of dark stuff, to start a lot of these games. The mainstreaming of Satanism, it's hidden in plain sight, okay? Limited hangout means they'll have CIA guys and others talk about the UFO in a limited way, okay? But when you see these children can openly out here in California get hormone blockers or a sex change operation to a teenage child, the media. Someone told me tonight, a man who actually built a treehouse out here, and then he got accused of killing his girlfriend because I don't know if they were into drugs or whatnot. She was older and had some money or a check or something, and so they accused him. So he went to jail for 2 years. I'm sure he didn't kill his girlfriend, but he told me the Rothschilds have a mansion out here in Westcliff. And again, I got to big up Justin Cummings for, if that's accurate, for taxing them, the extra tax for the empty mansion. But on the other hand, does that mean, the magic A drink is in Santa Cruz? I mean, does that mean the deepest levels of black magic rituals are done in Santa Cruz? Well, I already knew it was like that, and that's one of the other reasons why I would never want to invest in this place. So as much as I love it, this guy that gave me Dionysius. We had the Dionysius wine ceremony at the Santa Cruz Fungus Fair on the lawn. He used to collect cans, and he was a crazy twin shaman. And he told me one day, "Give unto Caesar." He said, "I'm leaving and going to Peru." He said, "Give unto Caesar." In other words, where I'm sitting now, this is conquered land. Not just because it's haunted because of the conquistadores, but because their descendants, they maintain the slavery here. So the reason why I make videos from the tent is not to be cute or something and say it to prove that I can even. It's just that I'm an alien to these as far as this, because I'm half Irish. I'm from an island off the coast of South Carolina, and I'm not here to be a slave. So it's hard for them to accept me, or it's ironic. I've been finding some affordable rentals here for the first time in a while today. I look around. So in more recent history, another thing is the head of the housing authority of Santa Cruz. His name is Jenny Panetta. Okay, so Leon Panetta was the CIA director, and her cousin is the senator, and so they're certainly not going to want to put a guy like me that makes these kind of videos into housing. So if anybody out there lives in Santa Cruz County that likes all my stuff, has any space where I could build a teepee, or I'd rather build a dome or a yurt, hit me up. Because the dark ones kind of, and also their control over all the public institutions, as I've said before, is designed to terrify you by the size. It makes it into a contest if you get Section 8. You got to, like I say, the police quota, the Section 8, the size of the buildings, this Front Street, San Jose by the Sea. All these are signs of these dark ones. They try to intimidate you with making lawyers and doctors go to school for 10 years to learn all the statistics of the human body as it was a machine. But see, that's because paperclip. Okay. Basically, in this town, you can have everything you want except the basics, except for food. You can have everything else you want except for a wife and a house. No problem. You understand? It's a huge, massive contest. The reptilians built that into the West Coast over like I say, they conquered this land with their conquistadores. I mean, who do you think was behind the conquistadores? So now we have, if you research the history of the CIA, Alan Dulles was doing deals with these Nazi guys and these demon, these Zetas. And, Kennedy sent them a memo saying, I'm going to announce to the world about what you're doing. Something to that effect, right? Again, he was from one of the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati, but I guess for probably a century, I don't know, 80, 90 years, or I don't know how long, the Kennedys broke away and rebelled and decided to tell the world what they're going to do. So 11 days after that, he got shot. And so now we have Drag Queen Story Hour, J.P. Sears and Russell Brand. I'm not quite on their level, or nor am I pretending to be, but boy, they can really tell you what's happening and make fun of it and make it into the Rothschild and the Klaus Schwab into comedy. And so then we have when Kennedy was in, or after he left, they stopped. Before that, all silver was made out of 90%. All coins, U.S. coins, 90% silver. If you ever find any, I got a nickel over here. It's probably worth $10. And after Nixon got in, they took all the gold out of Fort Knox.